There is a great book by Murakami called What I Think About When I Think About Running. And he's got some good quotes in there about running and pain and writing. And I think there's an interesting correlation that he mentions in the book between distance running and um, and writing a book, in the fact that they're both kind of solitary endeavors. You have to go out and you have to put the work in by yourself. Nobody can go and make you run long miles. Nobody can go and make you write a lot of words. And so they're both endeavors that take a lot of your own willpower to kind of push through all those barriers, because it's not comfortable to go run. And it's not comfortable to sit down and write a lot. And I say this all because I just got back from the gym. Well, I'm getting back from the gym. I'm still driving. And I have my phone set up on my dashboard, phone mount. So I'm not touching my phone. I'm not looking at my screen. I'm driving safely. Get that out of the way. I've got my seatbelt on. And I'm wearing my glasses so I can see where I'm going. But I wanted to talk about time. And I've mentioned before consistency, and I think it's important to try to get in what you can get in every day. And sometimes that's not very much. Sometimes you're busy and you only have so much time to do things. But I think it's important to still try to fit in the things that are necessary. And for me, I used to run a lot. I used to do marathons, half marathons, all distances all the way down to 5K. I was a cross country coach for high school kids for a number of years, and so running for a big part of my adult life was, important. It meant a lot of my own running, and then getting others to run, coaching high school kids, middle school kids as well. And in that running, you have a lot of discipline. You have a lot of discipline. You have to get up every day and do it. And I became older. I stopped coaching, and my hobbies shifted a little bit, and I haven't ran as much as I used to. But I'm trying to get back into it, and I found that it's really hard. It's really hard to get back to. I used to run 60 miles a week. I think 65, 70 was my highest week of mileage. And I enjoyed it. I ran a lot and I loved it. And then you stop and you take a year off, you take 2 years off, and it's really hard to get back to it. And I think running is a lot like writing in that sense, where if you write a lot and you have this consistent base of writing where you can sit down and write 2,000 words or 1,000 words or whatever that consistent a large amount daily looks like for you. Again, I think it's different for everybody. But if you take a break and you take a long time off of that, it's hard to get back to it. And you just kind of have to put your head down and do it. And it's not pretty right away. I've got a race, a 25K, so it's like 15 miles coming up in February. I'm running it with my mom and my wife, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. But if I don't run now, I will not be able to run the 15 miles in February. If I don't train now, if I don't go out and put on these runs, even when it's dark out and it's late at night, and I have to go to the gym and I have to run on the treadmill, if I don't do this stuff now, I'm not going to be able to run those miles when I want to run at the race. And I want to do more than just survive the race. I want to actually race the race. I used to be able to race 15 miles. I used to have a plan for how to pace all of the mileage in a race like that for a half marathon, that distance. But now in my head, it's just, I want to survive. I want to get to the end of that race, and I want to be able to say that I ran the whole thing without walking. That's how out of running shape I am. So I think about writing the same way. If I didn't sit down every day and write 4,000 words, this novel wouldn't get finished. I wouldn't get to the end of 30 days and have 120,000 words. I wouldn't have something to look back at. And it's going to be probably not very pretty. But in my opinion, a really good way to get to the stuff that's pretty is to just put in the hard work and the slog and get through it. And so, while I can't remember all of the quotes and all of the important lessons from Murakami's book, What I Think About When I Think About Running, some of the stuff about pain sticks with me, and the thought that pain is something about it's optional, but our response is the thing that we have control over. I don't remember all the quotes. It was a while ago when I read the book, but I think that idea that distance running and novel writing are They're in that same world. The Venn diagram is very close between the two of them. I like that thought. I like that a lot because they are both solitary. Nobody can make you do them. You have to just get up and do the work. And the reward at the end is pretty valuable. You run a race, you finish running a half marathon or a marathon. Sometimes it's really brutal and it hurts a lot, but you have a sense of accomplishment. And you get to the end of a novel and you write the end. That feels really good. It feels really good in a short story. It feels really good in a novella, and it feels really good in a novel. So any of those accomplishments, you run a 5K, you don't run at all, and you run a mile for the first time. It feels good, and there's something about that, accomplishment, finishing something, and I think the physical exercise is really beneficial for just letting your mind reset, kind of. I wrote late tonight to get my 4,000 words in, and I'm 500 words short. But during that run, I could think about the novel. I could think about writing and where I need to go with the story next. And so when I get back home and I eat and shower and everything like that, I can sit down and I can write the rest of the words and finish the novel and then put this video up, and I can have a successful day, even with all the other stuff that got me busy and didn't get me to finishing my writing earlier. It's Saturday. The weekends are busy. You got stuff going on. You got family stuff. It's hard to get the free time to get these things done. But I choose to do all those things. I like those things. I like to spend time with family and friends. And so you just, if stuff's important to you, you make time for it. So that's the end of the video. I'm not going to film all the way to my house because I've still got a few more minutes of driving, and I want to keep these videos relatively succinct. So that's my motivation for the day. If you're doing something, it's worth it to stick with it. I think maybe I'm going to say a little bit more. When I was a cross-country coach, I would always tell the new kids that you need to stick with the program for 2 weeks. If you can come here every single day for 2 weeks, and we didn't run, if you've never ran before, if you're not much of a distance runner for cross-country, you're not going to be running hard runs every single day for those first 2 weeks. I wasn't a brutal coach. You're going to have days off. You're going to have breaks. You're going to have days that are really easy. But that's part of improving. That's part of just, going from zero to being able to run a few miles at a time. But if you stick with it for 2 weeks, your body's going to get used to running, and you're going to be able to run, and you're going to be able to finish out the season. And so, you show up on the first day and I have you run a mile and you think I'm never going to be able to do this. This is terrible. I'm not used to running. I'm slow. I can't breathe. It's hard. Yes, because you're bad at it, because you haven't been doing it. But you don't stay bad at it if you keep doing it. And writing is the same way. If you show up and you try to write, you sit down and you say, okay, I've got an hour. I'm going to put down as many words as I can. You might put down 7 words, because you write down 7 words and you go, that's terrible. I don't like those words. And you erase them and you write down 7 more words, and that doesn't make sense either. And so you erase those. Well, then you get to 15 words. Yeah, but that doesn't really work with the next 10 words I want to write. So maybe I should start over. But at least you sat down. And if you don't sit down the next day and then figure out, I could actually write 14 words, and so on and so on, and eventually you'll have a novel. Rome wasn't built in a day. It's a cliche, but we say that to say that stuff takes time. Life is long if we're lived to the fullest. We might die at any time. Nothing is guaranteed. But if you can say, well, I might live to be 80 years old, and as long as you're not 80 today, hey, you got some time. You can do stuff. So that's my motivation. Now I'm very close to my house, but I'll end the video here. Thanks for watching. Thanks for following along. I hope this is in frame and quality because I did not check before I started recording. I will see you tomorrow. Tomorrow will be day 13. I'm excited for where things are going. Thanks for watching.